The winds are turning on the 8th of November. And if you think this is bad, you're going to see 2x of this bad starting the 8th of November.
Hello and welcome to CNN News 18's podcast, Clarity Amidst Clutter. This is your host, Sriya Kundu. Well, the national capital has been choking underneath the effects of the blanket air pollution that has been there for the last couple of weeks now. And there has been a lot of discussion about this. And today we have with us Mr. Dhar Gupta, an entrepreneur and an environmentalist. He is the founder of Nirvana Being and a champion of quite an important movement, My Right to Breathe, which had started in Delhi a couple of years ago, which was also to battle air pollution. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Well, so like I just mentioned, the national capital region has gradually been choking underneath this pollution. And initially, right after Diwali, the reports had shown, had actually given us an assurance that this time, in the first time in the last 5 years, the pollution has actually gone down. And we had our Minister Gopal Rai say that it has come down by 30% from what it used to be right after Diwali. But again, this week, we see that the AQI has gone down to hazardous levels. Right in the beginning of 2022 itself, people had been facing an acute shortage of oxygen in the country. In this situation and the situation where AQI levels hit the headlines every year at this particular point of time, why aren't people realizing the importance of clean, fresh air?
2022 has been, every year is slightly different. Our peak pollution season, which starts usually early to mid-October, right after the monsoon. This year, our monsoons departed. I think the last day of rain was October 15th. Okay, so for Mr. Kejriwal and Mr. Gopal Rai to claim victory over pollution, why? Because the monsoon departure from North India was delayed. What I think was premature and immature. Okay, because honestly, the later the monsoons depart from India, the worse it is. The later the parali burns, the later the monsoon departs, the temperatures are cooler. And you know why I'm talking about the temperature is that every degree drop in temperature concentrates this smoke and pollution that's there 365 days of the year. And I'm talking about local emissions right now. Okay. I'm not even talking about parali. Okay. So this was an unusual year. Our monsoons, departed from North India very late. Diwali was very, very early.
Right.
Okay. So the temperatures were, not that cool as yet. We've been very lucky. What is today? The 1st of November. The winds still haven't turned. So usually we see the winds turning around, between the 20th and 25th of October, and they come out of the northwest towards Delhi and the rest of the Indo-Gangetic Plain. So we become absolutely downwind like sitting ducks from the paddy burning smoke. So so the winds still haven't turned. In fact, I'm telling you here on this podcast, because I haven't gone public with this, the winds are turning on the 8th of November. And if you think this is bad, you're going to see 2x of this bad starting the 8th of November. The other point you brought up was about oxygen and the importance of fresh air.
Right.
So I've been measuring for the past 3-4 years, and I'm seeing that, of course, our indoor environments, like we're sitting indoors right now, are severely oxygen deprived. With every breath, when you have so many people in a closed space, the carbon dioxide levels go up and the oxygen levels go down. And that's why COVID actually brought the whole ventilation thing to the forefront, and for all good reason, but it's not only about COVID, it's just about general health. Shifting to outdoors, it's been very interesting. I am not even finding 21% is the share of oxygen in ambient air, or what it should be. I've tested in Lodi Garden, I've tested in the biodiversity park. I don't find 21% oxygen anywhere in Delhi. Okay, and then we talk about all these issues that we're having of autoimmune disease and infertility and all these cancers, and we still don't know what the root of it is.
Right.
My gut feeling, and I'm not a doctor, is that it's all due to oxygen deprivation. You know, whether it's ambient air or you know, indoor air, we are putting ourselves into these oxygen deprived environments that are creating all these problems.
There's been a debate about, so why should we stop burning crackers? Because you have other causes of air pollution, like cars, for that matter, fuel burning, stubble burning. So why should crackers be banned? And right after Diwali, when this entire situation had come up that, oh, the pollution levels have gone down by 30%, the first speculation that came up was from IMD was the reason is because of that cyclone Sitrang that was developing. But the point is, should these be the reasons that pollution come down? Shouldn't the debate in the first place be that yes, if crackers have been banned, then it should be like, why are we politicizing a matter of severe health hazard in this particular manner? Like I mentioned before as well, this has been the case for several years now. It's nothing new. And for that matter, it's not even a problem that restricts itself to Delhi itself. It's there across the country. It's just that Delhi gets highlighted every year because of the severity of the issue here. So what exactly, where is the public out there missing out the very focus of this point, that the health hazard that this air pollution is going to cause?
This is what people do, right? They pick up like isolated things and say, ki, yaar, we don't want to give up on this. We don't want to give up on our fireworks. And the farmers will say, yeah, we don't want to deal with these, you know, the labor involved in, you know, baling our agri residue. You know, we need to burn it because we don't have time and we don't have labor and we don't have money to even bale the residue. Then the guy who's burning the waste will say, arey, you know, it's just one thing. Then the guy who's driving his vehicle, you know, his or her, you know, big ass SUV, you know, running on diesel, is saying, yaar, you know, I want to be comfortable in my SUV. मैं तो चलाऊंगा. So it's not one thing, right? It's like air pollution is a cocktail, okay? And our peak air pollution season runs from Dussehra to Holi.
Right.
Okay. This year itself, 2022, was unusual because and this has been by you know, just for your information, 2022 so far is the worst year on record for air pollution, and I have been studying this for 8 years now. Okay, we had peak air pollution well into June. I mean, it didn't end at Holi. Other years,
it's ironic, right? Because this year we have records coming up and reports coming up saying that, oh my God, our pollution has gone down.
When it rains and when, you know, when the winds blow, those are the only. So there's a few factors that kind of disperse pollution, right? Because our behavior doesn't change 365 days. The reason the Dussehra to Holi is a problem is because of the winter months in North India. Okay, the rest of India, you know, has an air pollution problem, but is nowhere as severe because it disperses. So what happens in the winter months? The temperatures go down, which creates the cold air inversion. The wind speeds slow down. Okay, with you know, the cold, the effect of cold, and then in the peak winter months, which is after December 15th or 20th till about early February, everybody starts burning something to stay warm. It's about survival, right? This is the reason. So from you know, mid-October to the end of November, we have the impact of Diwali and this parali burning and the local emissions, which are 365 days. After this episode 1 ends, you get episode 2 that starts, you know, around December 20th and will last till the first week of February, which is the bitter cold, you know, conditions in North India. That's called episode 2 of air pollution. So these are our peak episodes of air pollution. But, you know, it's really pathetic that, you know, every year we record like maximum 5 days of good air in Delhi NCR. A complete apathy. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody even understands the importance of air. You know, I mean, I actually want to talk about that.
Definitely.
So, you know, Sriya, there are only 3 raw materials our human body uses, right? It's food, water, and air. We are not what we eat
or drink.
We are not what we drink. We have so much emphasis on eating, you know, food that's cooked hygienically
food,
and
clean water.
And this air is something we're just taking for granted. We just think, arey, wo to theek hi hoga, but theek nahi hai. और हम इतने सालों से बोल रहे हैं, we are going on and on and on saying it's not good, it's not good. The other problem is, what is this air, the heaviness in the air, because our air is full of smoke, right?
Right now it's smoggy outside, you can't see anything.
Yeah, so where is that coming from, right? It's coming from combustion.
Right.
We are burning something. We keep saying that air pollution is a burning issue.
Right.
Pun intended.
Yes.
This is black carbon nanoparticles that are in the air. Okay, and black carbon, the soot, that's black carbon nanoparticles. This is a toxin. It's a carcinogen. Okay. And the reason we focus on particles, PM 2.5, it means particulate matter that is less than 2.5 microns, is because the natural filters of our body, our nasal hair, our mucous membrane, cannot filter particles under 2.5 microns in size. Okay? So anything, these black carbon nanoparticles are going unchecked into our lungs.
System.
From our lungs, they are through the alveoli, they are going into our bloodstream, and through our bloodstream, they're going everywhere. So your neurological health, your cardiovascular health, your immunity, your fertility, everything other than your gastro system is getting impacted by these black carbon nanoparticles. The years of life lost from living and breathing in, it's called YLL, years of life lost from living and breathing in Delhi's air is about 8 to 10 years. Okay, if that's not a public health emergency, I'm not sure what is.
We've played the blame game for too long. The government keeps saying that yes, we have introduced policies, but after a point, it's on the people. The onus is on the people to follow it. To implement, yes, implementation is definitely being done, but it is for them to follow what is being implemented as well. Like I just spoke about the cracker burning ban. And then currently the issue that people are talking about is stubble burning. Again, stubble burning is not new. Stubble burning has been there for years.
Also, it's a 30-day phenomena in a year.
Yeah, it's a 30-day phenomena.
Yeah.
And what time are we giving to deal with that 30-day phenomena? That 30-day phenomena is something we discuss and we deal with after it starts, and after we have seen that, okay, so the air is slowly, the atmosphere is getting covered in a blanket of pollution. One sudden morning I wake up and I can't see the building in front of me, and that is when it hits people that, okay, so the stubble burning has started, the NCR region is going to get polluted. It's a matter of a few months, it's an inconvenience for a few months, but life goes on again. And then it's a cycle that we've been in for years now. The awareness is there. To some extent, yes, policies are being, again, it's late for sure, because the government usually ends up introducing policies once, like schools are now on the verge of being shut down because of stubble burning. But that's not that's like almost a consequence of what has happened. That's not a policy that you're introducing to deal with the problem. Yes, right now, currently, there are fines that they are imposing on the farmers. There are other various measures and guidelines that the government has come up with. But again, that is too late. You deal with the problem before the problem is there. Like at this point,
there is no proactive approach.
It's almost like, yes, there is a sinking boat that we are in.
Yeah.
But now, after, like once we see that we are drowning in the water, that's when we start addressing, oh, there's a hole in the boat.
Right.
That's the situation.
There are a few inherent problems in this country. Okay. One, nobody has elected a government based on their work on health and environment.
Right.
Okay. It's not important. Health and environment are not important. That's why we are, in the name of development, we are, basically removing the little bit of green cover we have left.
Right.
Okay, it's we are chopping up ourselves at our knees is what's happening right now in the country. We are so blinded by our $5 trillion economy goal that we can't see. We are missing the forest for the trees.
Yes.
Okay. The other problem when it comes to the citizens is that our memory is really, really short. Okay. So when Holi comes and you're like, oh, I can breathe again, and you just, it's like
Forget it.
we forget it, it happened. And
very convenient.
like people were meeting me at these Diwali parties and saying, "Arey, इस साल तो सब सफा हो गया, इस साल तो air pollution ही नहीं है, Jay, you have
Exactly.
you don't have any work to do
Exactly.
this October, November." And I was like, "यार, seriously, I mean, how stupid are people that they think कि हम कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे और magically सब सफा हो जाएगा." मतलब ये this is not magic. This is a man-made problem that's happening year after year, and it's not going to magically disappear. And it's not going to become less or more because Mr. Kejriwal or Mr. Gopal Rai or anybody else in leadership is saying, ki we have cleaned it up. No, I mean, this is going to require a consistent and committed effort from government and citizens. Okay, what can the government do? What it should be doing is incentivizing good behavior and penalizing bad behavior. So eliminating diesel vehicles and all our government vehicles, the Jal board vehicles, and every vehicle is all diesel, right, in Delhi.
Right.
And they're not even maintained. They're probably, from
yes.
World War II. At least they look like they are 50,
Yes.
60 years old. So we can all do the math on, and now we've got these smog things that are running, that are on the back of diesel vehicles.
Water guns that
the
we have.
water cannons
that
are on diesel vehicles running around town. Like it just, can people...
Very ironic.
It's just the stupidest
It just contradicts the entire point of having it in the first place.
It's the stupidest thing that I have seen. I mean, it's a mockery. The paddy burning problem, right? This paddy was never native to Punjab and Haryana. This problem was created because the government, to get votes, created a minimum support price for paddy in these states. So every farmer said, "Yaar, ye to assured income hai, let's grow paddy." Fine. Let's shift the MSP to pulses or millets. Let's shift it to another crop where the residue doesn't have to be burnt. Okay, so you're just incentivizing something else, right? And take the MSP away from paddy. It's not hard to do, and the farmers' incomes will be assured as well.
Right.
Everybody thinks that air pollution is just a Delhi problem.
Yes.
Okay, because all our monitoring stations are in Delhi. We have like really sparse. A really sparse network of monitoring stations elsewhere in the country. There's like state capitals like Dehradun that don't have a monitor. Allahabad doesn't have a monitor. And this is in the Indo-Gangetic plain.
Definitely.
Every valley is because just imagine valley, cold weather, the air gets trapped. Okay, Srinagar was is in the top 20 worst air polluted cities in the world, and that kind of shocked everybody. Like Srinagar, what a natural, beautiful place. Wahan kaise air pollution hai? Because it's a valley and it's cold, and when it's cold, people burn, and when people burn, that air is going to get trapped. So let's not go on myths and misconceptions.
Right.
Wherever you have winter in India, you have an air pollution problem. Wherever you have a severe winter.
Right.
Where the temperatures drop under 20 degrees Celsius, you have an air pollution problem.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
guaranteed.
So we've spoken about public apathy, and this might seem very childish, but I think the last time we read about air pollution in all seriousness is in my moral science class, back in environment science class, moral science classes we used to have in school. And after that, nobody ever talks about air pollution with such gravity, and the gravity that it actually deserves, the
Right.
seriousness of the matter.
Yeah.
So as an environmentalist yourself, and also a person who has suffered from it himself, what would you tell the people out there the way to protect themselves and also the seriousness of the matter?
Yeah.
And how do we go about with it now?
Yeah. So the words that I use when I typically post about air pollution when conditions are bad, like this morning I
Yes.
issued a health advisory on Twitter and on Facebook, and I always say limit activity and exposure. Okay, why do I write that? Because the more active you are, you're breathing deeper and you're pulling these particles deeper into your alveoli.
Right.
It's more dangerous for you. Okay,
Right.
and children really need to be protected because children are always bouncing.
Right.
They want to play. They're children, right? And you need a fitted, reusable N95 mask. Okay, a mask that is certified to filter and create a barrier for nanoparticles. Now, when you sleep, you do need an air purifier with a HEPA filter. And the size of that, the clean air delivery rate, what we call the CADR of that air purifier is important, because the entire volume of air in that room have to pass through that HEPA filter at least 6 to 7 times in an hour for that air purifier to actually bring your levels down. Our levels are that severe here in Delhi NCR and across the Indo-Gangetic Plain.
Right.
So those are the ways to kind of protect yourself. Eat more greens, drink hot fluids.
Don't go out for morning walks.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be active, and I'm in that genre, I feel very uneasy if I'm not active. The best time of the day to do it is between 3 and 5 p.m.
Right.
Okay, when it's the warmest time of the day, because at least little bit of dispersal,
Right.
happens. So that's the best time to be active if you want to be active. Just limit your activity and exposure. I think that kind of just sums it up. And your mask has to remain on all the time. Make air pollution, make health and environment a vote bank issue. Make your vote count and bring in a green government, because no amount of money is going to bring back this health. The impact of air pollution is irreparable. What we are doing to our body from these conditions, what they are today, I mean, this is it's a human rights issue. This is, I liken it to mass genocide, to be honest with you. I mean, to have a leadership, to have actually a lack of leadership. Why isn't the sports minister jumping in? Why isn't the health minister jumping in? Why isn't the environment minister jumping in? Who's handling this problem? I don't think anybody has the mandate to handle this problem. So we need to elect a government which has a mandate to handle this problem, because our current leadership is not leading.
Right. I think that's a very crucial point that you've made towards the conversation that we'll now have to end. But definitely, the problem that we have here is definitely, firstly, apathy, public apathy, and the constant blame game that we just talked about. And also, for some reason, it seems like the steps that are even being taken, they're just for the sake of show, more than it actually having an effect on what the problem is.
Right.
So in that particular situation, I think what needs to be done, and what I concluded from whatever you said, is it's not just about awareness. It's high time we've taken action, and we've taken action with each other in collaboration with the government. The blame game has to stop somewhere, and everybody needs to get on the ground. It cannot be a conveniently forgotten issue that, yes, during the summer months it's absolutely fine, the air is all fine and air pollution is not there. We need to keep reminding ourselves of the acute shortage. Like, I keep bringing this up because I remember the situation Delhi itself was in back in January, the entire ventilation and the oxygen shortage problem. I think we need to keep, despite that being because of the pandemic, I think we need to keep reminding ourselves of that.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you so much for joining us, and
Sure.
thank you so much for shedding so much light upon a topic that we indeed end up ignoring most of the times, quite conveniently so. And with that, we come to an end to this episode. Thank you for watching, and this was Clarity Amidst Clutter, and this was your host, Sriya Kundu. Thank you.